You're watching America Trends. I am Mary Burke Godwin, and I'm excited to meet our next guest. She is the founder of a digital advertising agency and founder of Needle's Eye Media and co-founder and CEO of The Gig, which is a digital media company that helps freelancers acquire and are aimed at helping freelancers conquer the gig economy through a free daily email. Okay, this is really cool. This is the way of the future. So I'm excited to meet you, Dorothy Hollabaugh. Welcome to America Trends.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to chat with you. You know, I do know I was a freelancer for about a year in between jobs. I worked in an agency and then was freelancing and then ended up full-time here. But in that time frame, I mean, I learned so much, and I would have loved an email like The Gig. So I want to talk to you all about this. And first, I want to hear about you and how you got your start.
Yes, so I was working for a startup for several years. And when I left that company, I wanted something that was going to give me the same degree of freedom and autonomy and, really just a sense of control that I felt like I had in that job. And I really wasn't finding that in the types of places that I was interviewing. And so I decided to go off and, try to do something on my own. So I started, working with small clients, doing Facebook advertising, and that really just began to snowball. And, within only a few months, I had, more than doubled my salary from, my previous job. And, eventually that morphed into the agency that it is today.
That's pretty awesome. God, I could have you on to talk all about Facebook ads too, because that's what I used to do as well. An agency was Facebook ads, and I feel like it's a ever-changing world and environment that Facebook. But let's talk about. I want to talk about the freelance market and then how the gig kind of plays into that. So you tell me about the gig. I went onto the website, and you can put in your email and subscribe, right, to this newsletter. Mm-hmm. So then tell me how that how it works.
Yeah, so really our whole mission is to help people to acquire and profit from what we call high income online skills. So I'm talking about things like advertising, copywriting, graphic design, these types of, skills that someone can acquire even if that isn't what they did in a previous job. You can start to, work with small clients and build your skills as you go along. And it's almost like getting paid to, have this education. And as your skills grow, you can work with bigger and bigger clients and work on more exciting projects. And really through the gig, through this daily email newsletter, we are giving people all of the tips and tools that they need in order to effectively attract the right clients, to work with them in the proper way, and also how to be effective working for yourself. Essentially when you become a freelancer, you are starting a business. And so understanding how to be effective working for yourself, how to be effective with clients is a huge part of the learning curve that people often don't think about.
So you're curating articles and other resources and educational maybe articles or tools for people to put it all in one daily email. Is that right? In one place where They can just open up and not have to go to 15 different resources.
Exactly. So it is a mix of curating content and also, our own original content. So my co-founder and I, we both have deep experience in freelancing, and we really pooled, everything that we've learned over the years, working with clients, and turned it into really actionable tips and advice that other freelancers can use to, avoid some of the common mistakes and you really get their businesses off the ground faster.
Yeah, I definitely needed you a few years ago. And I do think before the pandemic, it was more of a fringe thing, being freelance and working gig to gig, let's say. But now, after COVID, I think it's definitely more mainstream, right?
Yeah, it's actually pretty incredible. The share of professionals freelancing increased in 2022 to 60 million Americans. So, that's up 3 percentage points. And, I think the perception of freelancing is really shifting as well. More workers are looking for diversified income. So maybe they are, working in a 9-to-5 job, with traditional employment, but they're also doing freelance work. That's 17% of workers. And so, this is really something that we've seen explode during COVID, and is definitely continuing to move along at that same trend.
Yeah, you make a great point too. And I think, especially where I live in California, a lot of people have a full-time job, but then also freelance on the side. I have a couple of freelance gigs on the side too. But I think everybody needs to bring in extra income based on the trends of inflation and everything that's happening. And this kind of hustle mindset where people have the side hustle. That became a big phrase a few years ago. And they were finding ways to make this other income. And you're making it easier for people.
Yeah, and we're also seeing Gen Z and millennials are really driving a lot of this growth. So what's fascinating is, in this past year, 43% of all Gen Z professionals and 46% of millennials performed some type of freelance work. So you're absolutely right; it really has exploded.
And I like this quote that's the gig economy is more than just an Uber or a DoorDash or some of these other those are really good side hustles for people. I mean, those are great ways for people to make extra money on the side in their free time or in their time after their daily job. But talk to me about some other industries that you're seeing. I mean, you mentioned them briefly, but let's dive into that a little deeper. Other industries where people
Yeah.
can freelance.
Absolutely. So, when it comes to freelancing and knowledge services, that's really what we're talking about here. So, it's really about skill sets that allow you to drive income for other businesses. So, really, we're talking about things that you can do from home. A lot of these skills in the marketing field, things like writing ad copy or writing emails or other types of marketing collateral, or doing graphic design for advertisements or websites. Really any type of work that you can do where a business can tie revenue and profit back to the work that you did. For example, someone clicks an ad that you created, and then they purchase a product or they read a sales letter that you wrote. All of these things allow you to really justify your fee and you really create value for businesses that you can then get paid for.
That's a great tip to tie in, the revenue that's brought in from the ad that you write, the ad copy, or the sales generated from the e-blast or whatever it may be, because that is, definitely copywriting and writing for people, whether it's e-blasts or Facebook ads or whatever, blogs. There was a time I was writing for 6 or 7 different clients because it was something I could do from home, I could do in my spare time or at night when the kids were sleeping or whatever it was. So that is definitely a great way to get in there and freelance, but also what you're saying is to how to position it to when you're trying to get new clients, right? And how to add value to what you do.
Exactly, because ultimately, when you think about what a business is looking for, they aren't paying you for a service, they're paying you for a result. So as much as you can position what you do in terms of the results that is going to provide for that business that's hiring you, the more effective you are going to be in the selling process, and the bigger fees that you can really justify.
Right. And how do you, kind of recommend that freelancers come up with what they charge per hour, or do you recommend having retainers, or what is some of the tips there that you tell people?
So this is something that we feel very strongly about. These skills allow you to gain leverage by charging flat fees versus hourly. So if you get paid $50 an hour, it's going to take you 100 hours to earn $5,000. But if you can charge $5,000 for a project and get it done in 35 hours, your effective hourly rate has just shot up to $142 per hour. So this is really the leverage that comes through, choosing these high income skills and providing them to businesses. It's getting away from this, space of trading time for money.
That's such a good tip. I really feel like, kind of framing it like that, and how quickly can you get it done and you make extra money per hour. What are some of your success secrets on how to turn your knowledge into your 6-figure side hustle?
Yeah, so I think it's really about when it comes to acquiring the skills, it's daily study and practice. So when you are say you're looking to do paid ads, you're going to be looking on social media as you're scrolling through Instagram, notice the advertisements and, try to see if you can pick out, what's making them effective. Or, if you are looking to, do phone sales, listen to recordings of sales calls and really be engaged in that daily study. And then focus on the inputs, not the outputs. And this is really key because, you can't control how many people, return your message or, hire you for a project, but you can control how many proposals you submit every day on
Right.
Upwork or Fiverr or one of these freelancing platforms.
Oh, I love it.
Really
Such
being
good
deliberate
tips.
about tracking those inputs.
Thank you so much, Dorothy Hollabaugh, for joining us. I want to, thegig.io is where you can sign. This is a free newsletter, free. So check it out, thegig.io. I know, this is so awesome. Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us. Dorothy Hollabaugh on LinkedIn, too. You can check her out there. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be right back with more America Trends right after this quick break.